Hi, everyone. Kim Schneider, CEO, co-founder of Abby. We'll go quickly here, won't we? So I think everyone is aware that telemedicine usage dramatically increased throughout COVID. If we cast our minds back pre-COVID, what were the promises that should have been met when this usage increased? We were going to solve healthcare access and significantly reduce healthcare costs. Did that happen? Not so much. In fact, what we're seeing today is that large healthcare payers are actually restricting access to telemedicine, just as they were to offline consultations, and people are waiting sometimes days to have a video telemedicine consultation in the same way they've been waiting days to have an in-person visit. What's the reason for this? It's because traditional telemedicine models have not addressed the fundamental unit of cost of a medical consultation, which is the doctor's time. All they did was take the traditional clinic model where you book an appointment, you tell the doctor your problem, the doctor solves it and then does the notes, and they moved it to video. And we were supposed to think that was innovative, and because venture capitalists, and excuse me for those of you who are, poured billions of dollars into this uninnovative model, nobody seemed to notice that it wasn't doing much until suddenly during COVID people used it and we had a problem. So how do you address that? You need to pull apart that consultation, do it in a different way, and apply AI to every step. You start by first understanding the patient need, using AI to understand that efficiently. Next, instead of booking appointments and using that traditional inefficient paradigm, you immediately connect people to a healthcare professional. Then, when the healthcare professional arrives to the patient, they can be prepared with content, with answers, to have a much more efficient consultation and make healthcare professionals more available globally. The net impact of this approach is that we have about 3 times higher customer engagement across the 10 million patients that we cover. It takes less than 30 seconds to connect to a doctor across 43 countries, 24 hours a day. It takes less than 2 minutes of healthcare professional time per consultation. And we deliver significant return on investment for the insurance companies and other healthcare payers who pay for our services, both increasing access and significantly reducing costs. Less than 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You did finish it in less than 3 minutes, so we have about 2 minutes and something left. It's time for the jury members, the judges, to ask their questions. There's only 2 minutes for that. Reminder, please introduce yourself just before you ask your question. So I know you're interspersed throughout the crowd, so you can raise your hands and just introduce yourself and ask your question. 2 minutes.
Milan Ivanov from Sophia Angels Ventures. So tell us very quickly about the traction, where the product is at the moment, what kind of customers do you have, and everything that you've achieved so far.
Yeah, so we're working with about 36 insurance companies, delivering our service in 43 countries around the world, 27 languages, about 10 million patients.
Hi, Samantha Jerusalemi, a partner of Alea Venture Capital Fund. Question about the team. Can you please describe a little bit the management team and where you come from?
Yeah, sure. So myself, I'm Swedish and American. I have a background in health technology. My co-founder is a physician, also with about 15 years in health tech and particularly in telemedicine. We have a very diverse team depending upon the needs. We have a lot of healthcare professionals internally, although we use a network of 1,200 doctors around the world to actually deliver the service. We have a dedicated AI lab led by one of the top 200 scientists in the world across all sciences. We've had a dedicated AI lab since long before it was cool. And in fact, that's one of the keys to our success, is that we structured the basic product to accept AI as it arrived, rather than trying to adapt the product to new AI that came in. So I mean, I don't have time to go through everybody, but hopefully that gives you a general sense for the kind of people that we have. And again, it's a very diverse team from all over the world. We're Dublin headquartered. We have a big office here as well. We're also out in Asia.
Hello, my name is Thomas Lapinskas. I'm a cardiologist and also director of public health research and education at the University Hospital. Can you give your feedback from the cooperation with healthcare providers? what benefits they do see by using your solution?
Yeah, sure. That's a really interesting question. I mean, again, I can take a long time, but I'll try to answer this shortly. So the thing that's so appealing about our approach for the individual healthcare professionals themselves is that we offer the ability to practice what we call pure medicine. So we remove most of the administration, so they're dealing just with patients.
Okay, sorry, we're going to have to stop you right there. I hate to be strict, but the time is up. Thank you very much. Everybody, a round of applause. Thank you. Next up, moving along, Ioannis Gouzionis, CEO of Aisthesis Medical. Your 3 minutes start right now.
So, afternoon, everyone. Having faced sepsis twice, I know how hard it is to survive. Consider the global health crisis. Sepsis claims a life every 2.8 seconds. Sepsis is a life-threatening condition that can result from an infection and is the major cause of 11 million annual deaths globally. Early detection and treatment can be challenging, but it's critical to improve patient outcomes. And this is where we step in with our solution, Viosync, an AI software that detects early signs of sepsis. Viosync utilizes multimodal data, including vital signs, lab results, and clinical notes, to synthesize a digital patient twin. This allows us to make accurate, personalized predictions and flag high-risk patients, enabling in this way early intervention, which can improve patient outcomes, lower healthcare costs, and save lives. Viosync outperforms existing tools by predicting sepsis with 98% accuracy up to 48 hours before the first symptoms appear. Our competitive advantage lies on our proprietary digital patient twin that combines billions of data points, our explainability module that contrasts the black box AI tools, and our capability to work across the healthcare continuum from admission to discharge. With Viosync, we're tapping into the fast-growing market of healthcare predictive analytics, and we aim to reach 8,000 bed installations within the next 5 years. Hospitals are our primary customers, and we offer Viosync via an annual per-bed subscription fee model. We're also actively discussing with medtech giants to license our technology to them. So far, we have achieved remarkable traction, successfully developing and validating Viosync over a first in-human clinical study. Our strong network includes collaborations with leading clinical and industrial partners, demonstrating a global interest into our solution. Our team blends world-class expertise in AI, medical devices, and clinical medicine with experience at top institutions, uniquely positioning us to bring this cutting-edge technology from the bench to the bedside. We're actively conducting a phase 2 clinical validation of Viosync across the UK, Spain, and Italy, and at the same time, we're working towards CE/MDR certification and FDA 510(k) clearance, targeting market launch within 2026. To achieve these milestones, we're currently seeking an investment of £750,000. If you share our vision, join us in this journey to beat sepsis and shape the future of acute care. Thank you for your attention.
2 minutes of questions starts right now.
Tell us about your go-to-market strategy. How do you acquire customers? Yeah.
Of course, so first of all, we will start with direct sales to hospitals, public hospitals across the UK and the EU. And at the same time, as I said, we're trying to reach agreements, licensing agreements with big medical device companies. We're in discussions with Massimo and Philips Healthcare at the moment.
Your traction, is it only in Greece or you have other countries?
Right now, we're pre-market, we're pre-certification. We are doing clinical trials in London, in St. George's Hospital, in Milan, in Maggiore Policlinico, here in Barcelona with Hospital Clinic, and also in Lithuania, in Kaunas Clinic, plus 2 hospitals in Athens.
As I saw my institution on the map, I'm not sure if I'm not biased, but I didn't know. So my question about the safety, accuracy, and how many lives you saved.
Regarding this, right now, as I said, we are in clinical validation. The first initial results from the first pilot study that we did shows a decrease in mortality up to 30%, and of course we have to further validate it and approve it and get the certification.
Thirty seconds.
That's all I assume.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next up, Tom Van de Putte, co-founder and CEO of Bingli.
Good afternoon. It's Van de Putte, a very difficult name to pronounce, but it's not a problem, but just...
Van de Putte.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. You have to know that 80% of decisions in healthcare are made based on the story the patient tells the physician. It's what we call the medical history taking or the anamnesis. And unfortunately, that process sucks. It's very time-consuming, it's frustrating for physicians and patients, and it's administrative heavy. At Bingli, we are a team of 20 doctors, engineers, and data scientists who want to unsuck the process by developing the smartest medical interview on the planet. What does it mean? It means that we know what answers a physician is looking for to make decisions. This can be about diagnosis, triaging, this can be about navigating the patient to the most appropriate level of care. And because we know what answers they need, we can ask the appropriate questions. And based on the answers we collect, we can generate and present actionable insights to the professionals. How does it work? It's very simple. The patient is invited, they click on a link, they answer around 7 questions in their own language, at their own pace. The interview stops, the patient is thanked, and then the answers are presented to a physician, a nurse, or a doctor in a summarized way. And on top of that, we show these actionable insights that help them to deliver more qualitative and more efficient care. More qualitative, so with better outcomes, but also with more empathy, to have a more human touch in healthcare, to bring that back, but also more efficiently and more productively. We are doing this in Europe and in the US for providers and payers. So we go directly to hospitals and insurance companies, can be public or private insurance companies. We also work together with pharmaceutical companies and CROs for all these target groups in order to bring insights that can help them in making decisions. Maybe to go back, because one of the questions is the go-to-market strategy. We typically work with these kinds of partners, pharma companies, to help us in our go-to-market strategy because they have a broad network of clients, hospitals, but also sales reps in the field who can go out and tailor our product. I just put in this slide for the people who would think, are you a symptom checker? No, we are not a symptom checker. I will not go into details on that, but if you have questions why we are not a symptom checker, you can visit me on the booth and ask me about it. We have raised up until now 10 million in capital. We will finalize this year in a little bit more than 1 million revenue and plan next year to do 2.5 million revenue with the main focus on the US.
Okay, we have to stop you right
Thank
there
you.
because now it's time for the questions.
Yeah, I'm done.
3 minutes are up. Jury members?
Hi, I'm Katrina from Exceptional Ventures, and the question I have for you, it's a VC fund, and the question I have for you is what differentiates you from your competitors, because there are a lot of tools doing anamnesis.
Yeah, I don't think there are so many tools who do anamnesis in a smart way. What I mean is that there's a lot of questionnaire builders who use a fixed flow. What we do is we use differential diagnostic reasoning, meaning that we really think like a doctor. So the patient presents themselves with a specific reason for a visit to a doctor, and based on that reason, we will start to look in the diagnostic landscape. What are the matches? And based on probability reasoning, we will calculate literally on the moment itself the smartest question to ask the patient in order to gain accuracy in the diagnostic reasoning process. So that's very different from most of the questionnaire approaches, which is like or a decision tree or a predefined fixed questionnaire, which most of the time does not really work in medicine because you need to have this more probabilistic approach.
Samantha, still. You were talking about you go-to-market strategy towards pharma company. So I guess you're selling data, reward data for clinical evidence?
No. So why do pharma work with us? Because we can help speed up the diagnosis process. Typically in the rare disease area or in areas where patients tend to be asymptomatic or with diseases that are characterized by aspecific symptoms. So where it's difficult...
sorry, we're very sorry there. I hate to interrupt.
No problem.
They've given me authorization to stop everybody.
But they can visit me on the booth for more questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to announce when the time's running out. Mr. Van der Putte, thank you. I will try to let you know if you're asking a final question that you don't have much time so we can get the questions quickly. But again, if you don't finish, I'm sorry, I have to be very strict. You can also talk to the presenters outside. So next up, here we have Karen Manning, co-founder and CEO, Chiron Health AI. 3 minutes, starting now.
Oh, sorry, not this slide. This isn't.
Thank you. No, it's okay.
She's number 4. Yeah? This isn't my presentation. It's not her slide.
It's not her slides.
Those aren't her slides. I was going to say, this is quite typical for me, don't worry.
You have 30 seconds left. So you better hurry.
Yeah.
And we'll start the clock when everything's ready to go.
Okay. Okay, that's mine. Yep.
Here we go.
Hi, everyone. So this is my presentation. So we're using AI to solve the biggest problem in healthcare, and that is almost half of us have a long-term health condition, but healthcare is failing them. Personalized self-care options are recommended in medical guidelines, but they're not being actioned, and everyone is different. What works for one person may not work for somebody else. Data-driven self-care is the solution. We can use machine learning and advanced data profiling to make sense of all of this data and intelligently recommend personalized self-care interventions that are most likely to be successful for the user and improve their symptoms. And that's exactly what Chiron does. It recommends the self-care treatment that's most likely to be clinically effective for the user based on the profile, and then provides us a very simple framework to test the impact. And this is how it works. Our multi-parameter AI algorithms run in near real time against our vast data foundation to recommend a series of iterative self-care interventions. We alter one variable or intervention at a time, and then we monitor data meticulously to analyze the impact. And the result is that Chiron becomes more intelligent with each user and will continually adapt as our data set grows. So we don't just recommend the right treatment, we also provide fully customized and treatment programs in areas such as greater exercise, nutritional therapy, and psychological therapy. And we capture huge amounts of data from multiple sources, which is cross-correlated to deliver actionable insights back to the patient. And we are moving towards prescriptive and descriptive data modeling, enabling the app to reactively adjust in real time if the user's health data changes. So we've proven that Chiron is safe and effective. We're a Class 1 medical device in the UK, and we've had a huge amount of traction since we spun out of Founders Factory about 12 months ago. So our commercial strategy has seen us release B2C in order to obtain data and train our AI, but we're very much focused on a B2B launch for healthcare organizations from Q1 2025 because the value here is very clear. When we activate patients to manage their own health, we can reduce healthcare costs by about 21%, and we can significantly improve clinical outcomes. And in the UK, we're scaling fast. We're currently integrating with the NHS app via Patients Know Best, and we're automating personalised self-care to 4 million patients in NHS ICSs via diagnostics, SNOMED codes, and drug data. So a new self-care pathway will also improve the value and the performance of drugs. We can actually optimize drug efficacy and reduce side effects.
I'm so sorry. Please accept my sincerest apology.
That's okay.
We have 2 minutes for jury questions, starting now.
Hi, Pablo Prieto from CG Health Ventures. Can you talk about engagement with your initial customers?
Yes, so we have we developed our own community of patients. We reached out to patient-led communities. We developed our own community to test the product. So we've got about 1,000 patients actively testing the product for us, all with chronic pain. We have demonstrated a 31% improvement in clinical well-being scores post-beta, and 87% of our users would recommend us to others, especially at first diagnosis. Engagement was actually quite high for a beta test. So after 3 weeks, we were still engaging about 70% of our users regularly, and that was for a 4-week test.
1 minute.
Hi, Ritesh Patel at Fin Partners. Your distribution model, is it only through Patients Know Best, or are you looking at other ways for the app to be downloaded and used? Are you doing a DCC model as well?
Yes, so we currently are B2C to obtain data. So we have a distribution partner with UK Fibromyalgia, so they have 100,000 members, mainly in the UK, but also around the world. As I said, that was purely to obtain data to train our models. But yeah, we've just raised our pre-seed round just last month. So that money is being used to develop that B2B product so that we can integrate with the NHS app via Patients Know Best, and we'll have access to 20 out of 42 NHS ICSs with that model. So we'll use that over the next 12 months to scale up.
Make it quick, it's only 10 seconds.
Riga LifeX Ventures. Pricing model?
It's annual license-based model based on the number of patients within the organization.
And have you validated that?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Next up, Tina Sampath, Interim CEO, Cumulus Neuroscience.
Thank you.
Let's wait till your presentation comes up.
And it's mine. Good job.
There we go.
Hi, everyone. Alzheimer's represents a massive global challenge. It's hard to detect, it's hard to track, and most patients will go undiagnosed. For those that receive a diagnosis, they can wait years and sometimes decades, and the costs are growing, and they're absolutely staggering. The impact of a delayed diagnosis has a human cost, and for the team at Cumulus, this is personal. Several of the patients here, including my Aunt Virginia, were diagnosed with later stage disease, and this robbed our family of precious time and the ability we were scrambling to provide for her care. And unfortunately, our story is not unique. Today, the current tools used in clinical practice are suboptimal for many reasons. They require a trained healthcare professional, they take time to implement, and importantly, they require patients to perform. So if you have a patient who has a memory concern, they're anxious going into that exam, and that performance anxiety can directly impact the results. Additionally, These tests were not validated with diverse patient populations. So language barrier is a major challenge with these tests. So it's no surprise that up to 70% of patients are misdiagnosed in the community setting. And this is why we're developing ExcelliDX, a rapid, scalable, easy-to-use tool that will enable physicians to make important decisions based on objective information. ExcelliDX leverages AI algorithms to interpret EEG signals that are specific to memory. It is the only screening tool that provides an objective measure of memory function. To date, ExcelliDX has been validated in hundreds of participants, and it has been replicated across multiple studies. In the US alone, we conservatively estimate that the TAM is 1.6 billion. This is based on the number of Medicare beneficiaries in 2027 when we expect to go to market. And importantly, we are planning to execute validation studies in collaboration with large US health systems. This will dramatically streamline the sales cycle within those health systems and adoption, and enable us to establish a beachhead in the health system setting before scaling into other channels. To date, Cumulus has raised $19 million in equity. We've been awarded over $10 million in grants and have generated $8 million in revenue with our first product, the new Logic Neuroassessment platform, and it's on this platform on which ExcelliDX is built. We're now raising a $12 million Series A to support the ongoing clinical development.
Thank you, Tina. Sorry, we're going to have to stop you right there. Again, apologies. 2 minutes remaining now for questions.
Thank you, very nice. So you already have the clinical trial involving the patients. Did you get a chance to estimate how you could reduce the time to diagnosis?
So we have multiple studies in progress right now, but so we have a large study that's a grant-funded study in the UK at a large memory clinic that will enroll 1,000 patients. We've enrolled over 200 patients into that study, so it's too early to have an answer to that question, but we have multiple studies in progress that will get to an answer.
Hi, very laser-focused question. There's a specific CPT code for assessment of mild cognitive impairment in the US, and this is usually a bundled evaluation, but you're doing a very specific EEG measurement. How do you plan to roll this out in the market?
So we are currently working with a reimbursement specialist, and we're planning to go in for a Category 3 code for new and emerging technology. So we're not planning to be part of the bundled code. So we're already in conversations with the American Academy of Neurology and others that would help facilitate that process. But once we go to FDA with our first Q-Sub submission, we'll initiate the application process.
Thirty seconds.
I could tap dance.
Go for it. 10-second tap dance? You got it?
I just realized it's carpet.
Okay. Round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving along, next up, Peter Krasinski, CEO of Feyenally.
Welcome. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Hola. My name is Peter. I come from Poland. I'm a founder and CEO of Feyenally. So I see almost on every road there is someone wearing glasses, and I bet some of you are wearing contact lenses too. So I want you to recall the last time you had your vision checked. Last time I did this, it took like half of my day. So I had to book an appointment, leave home, drive to the doctor's office, sit in a waiting room. Then I wait inside, went through a series of tests, and at the end of the day, it felt like I did the diagnosis myself. So not a very convenient experience, but imagine that for many people, that's actually a privilege. Because there is 1 billion people globally which do not have access to proper eye care. And what's more, almost 700 million of them might lose vision due to uncorrected refractive errors. 700 million, that's the equivalent of the population of the whole Europe. But what are refractive errors, just so that we are on the same page? So this is normal vision, this is short-sightedness, and this is far-sightedness. So in order to fix refractive errors, we have to somehow test our eyes. And at the moment, it has to happen offline by visiting a specialist. And there are not enough specialists. What's more, the methods that are in use right now are subjective and kind of date back to old school, let's say. So what can be done about this? Well, we have a solution. We developed a mobile app that basically allows to test your eyes instantly just with a smartphone. All you do is take a picture of each of your eyes, and we do the rest. How? By analyzing the pictures with our neural networks. Then you get the same result as you would get through the autorefractor. You can use the results to hopefully purchase corrective glasses one day. So the market for Feyenally is pretty vast, and we're going to operate in B2B2C model in developing countries. We can save time, we can save money, we can save hassle, we can reduce carbon footprint. We're going to partner up with private healthcare providers and eyewear businesses and kind of cascade the use of our tool to their users or patients. So this is on the on developing countries, though. We can save something more precious, basically the sight of 700 million people. So for them, this might be the only chance to have their vision tested at all. In order to pull a project like this, we needed a comprehensive team. So that's what we built with competences in business, in technology, and in science. And we've been working together for 3 years, so we kind of learned to speak the same language, which I think is a huge asset right now for us. With this team, we've gained significant traction so far. So we built a working MVP, we performed laboratory tests, we filed for patent protection, and we are right now lining up the first commercial deals and going to undergo the certification for Europe and Ghana in Africa next year. We've raised to date about $1 million. We are now raising our late seed fund of $1.1 million.
Sorry, we're going to have to stop you right there.
Sure.
There's 2 minutes left now for questions.
All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Chiron from IT Health. Have you identified any competitors doing similar solutions, and how does your solution differentiate from them?
Yes, thanks for the question. There are mobile apps available that offer similar solutions, but all of them are based on subjective tests. So basically, they mimic what is happening at the doctor's office right now. So basically, some symbols are displayed on the screen, and you still keep on guessing where you see or not see them. What we do is we have the objective test, so we don't require any feedback from you as a patient. We just take pictures of your eyes, and we can determine the refractive error using the neural networks we put together.
Hi, Peter. Paul here from Wiser Capital. What what recurring rates are you expecting from your customers, or are you only selling to B2B as a bundle?
So right now we plan to go B2B2C, but as you notice, the frequency here is probably going to be, depending on the country, it can be once a year. So the end goal that we want to have is to have like a master app for your eyes. So we want to implement also like some therapeutic exercises, some sort of monitoring, screening, so that there is a whole package. For the refractive error testing, it's probably like once a year. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Philip from the EIC Fund here. Yeah, interesting solution, but how would you address the risk that patients doing this check online and thereby not doing the check at the doctor, and the doctor obviously does other checks as well, like eye pressure and so on, which there are other, let's say, eye-related diseases that might not be diagnosed because the patients think, okay, I've done my check online, so I don't need to visit the doctor.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you right there. There was only 30 seconds. We got to keep the questions as brief as possible. The question took 30 seconds, but we're out of time.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'll come back. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Bart Geerts, the CEO of Health Plus.ai.
Good afternoon, everyone. Health Plus.ai is on a mission to enable proactive surgery care. So currently, surgery care, like most care, is reactive and in that sense, unsustainable. 1 in every 5 patients get an infection like a pneumonia or a wound infection after their surgery. The global cost, direct cost for hospitals that is, surmounts to about $500 billion. So an opportunist or a positive person would say that is a sizable market to turn to. If you dive in a bit deeper, we can see that the average diagnosis is made on day 5. If If you look at literature, it's actually day 9. So there is an opportunity where we can reduce that time and get to the patient earlier. And that's why we built Periscope, an AI system that is CE certified under MDR, that selects the high-risk patients to focus on, get the diagnosis early, but also discharge those patients without residual risk. So we predict with high accuracy, negative predictive value of over 98%, up to 100% in most hospitals now. We are EHR workflow integrated. We reuse only existing data, and we also recalibrate to each hospital specifically. That's an automated process where we overcome the uniqueness of every hospital site. What we also do is overcome kind of the legacy that is there in EHRs, where we bring all the relevant data together in one view for the nurse or the physician to review the patient for infections. This is what it looks like. It adapts, of course, to your EHR. Like I said, workflow integrated. We do a prediction for the next 7 days and for the full risk period of 30 days. We also explain why that risk is there. So we bring it home to the physician and the nurse. We give the background of the patient, and we actually visualize in a non-tabulated way what the vital signs and lab results are. What is the development of temperature? Where are we currently? We have, we're closing $500,000 of contracts this year, and we're looking to do that for a minimum of $3 million by next year. We also do that through partners. So we have a number of resellers, and we are partnered with a number of EHR vendors, basically giving us access to 80 to 90% of the surgical beds in the EU and the US. Like I said, we're CE certified, and we're working towards a de novo certification with the FDA by next year. And the focus now is really about implementation magic. How can we reduce the time to implement? We now got it down to 10 hours. Can we get further? And also end user engagement. We have also started publishing Nature, JAMA, Lancet, which is, of course, important to really get the trust from those end users. If you want to talk about AI, especially in surgery, please find me at the booth.
Sorry, we have to stop you right there. I know you wanted to go right to the questions. So 2 minutes. Please keep the questions as brief as possible to be fair to your colleagues, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. So this is risk score only for the infections, not for the other outcomes?
Currently, no. But this is a platform. So with those, we actually looked at hemorrhage and a number of other complications that we can predict as well. So ultimately, we stack them on that platform too.
And what could be your business model with healthcare providers?
So currently, it's a license model. We look at the volume of the hospital, and we sell it based on that. We're also looking at the business case that is owned. So it's 35 million for your average size European hospital, but the business case is over 5-fold that for the same group of patients for a payer. So that's really where we ultimately want to be. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the team?
Surely. I was told there was only three slides allowed. So we have a diverse team of 15 people, mainly data scientists, chemistry background, physics backgrounds, but also CTO, 20 years of architecture experience in building multiple companies. I'm a physician myself, 15 years of ICU and anesthesia, building products with Philips and other companies. More to go into, but maybe for a later time.
Is there room for one more question?
There is. There's 30 seconds.
Perfect. What is the incentive for the distributors to push your software?
Yeah. So the incentive depends on who the distributor is. So for an EHR vendor, it would be making the EHR better. For some, there's also a financial incentive. But most of the times, it is really about making a fuller product with the software as a medical device on top of that. Thanks.
And we are out of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Bart Geertz. Thank you.
Thanks.
And next up, we have Alba Garcia, Product Manager, Methinks AI.
Well, first non-CEO in the States today, I'm going to talk about Methinks. We want that every patient, no matter in which hospital they are, they get access to the best treatment. And the first focus that where we focus is on a stroke, because in a stroke, time is brain. Every minute until you get the treatment increases the risk of death or disabilities. And what's the most advanced treatment in stroke? It's the endovascular treatment, but only 1 every 14 eligible patients have access to this treatment. And there are many factors because of this, but let's look at the workflow to understand some of them. When a patient arrives to a hospital, the first thing that they get is a non-contrast CT scan, which is available in any hospital, but then they need contrast imaging to decide if they treat or transfer the patient. This contrast imaging is not available in most of the hospitals worldwide. And at Methinks, we unlock treatment decisions already from the non-contrast CT. So we reduce the time to treatment, and we increase the opportunities of new treatments. Actually, we are the only company with a CE mark Class 2B to detect large vessel occlusions from a non-contrast CT, and the solution also includes other modules. But as important as the AI, it is to provide and to facilitate coordination among the stroke care system. And instead of developing another platform, we integrated our AI alerts and also a medical imaging viewer inside Microsoft Teams. As I was saying at the beginning, we want all the patients and all the hospitals to have access to the best treatment. And all of them, most of them, have already Microsoft Teams. Actually, we are validating and building other modules to cover the full stroke assessment from a non-contrast CT. We are installed in many hospitals in the US and Europe, and we are working on the FDA submission, on the FDA approval on multi-year contracts and a distribution agreement. Our team is based in Barcelona. We are around 25 people, and it's backed by the most reputed KOLs in the space. And now we are looking for 7.5 million to expand these commercial deals and get a 4 million revenue in the next years. So that's all. Happy to take questions or discussions afterwards.
Lucas Steindl, Unica Ventures. So what's your go-to-market strategy?
We have a B2B model, and the go-to-market is mostly direct sales, but we are also working in this distribution agreement in CIMA, and a licensing model in the US, but again, mostly direct sales because we already have installations there, and they are about to, when we get the FDA clearance, to turn into commercial deals.
Can you talk about the competition, Viz AI or Rapid AI, if they are your competitors?
Sure. They focus mostly on contrast imaging because they don't want to change or challenge the workflow. It's easier, and then as this doesn't add as much with the AI, they focus a lot on the platform, on creating a new platform that coordinates care. Instead of that, we focus on non-contrast because we want to actually challenge the workflow and to give AI that it's actually useful. And we delegate the coordination part to teams and with good integration in teams. Also, they are focusing now on other diseases while we are fully focused on stroke.
How much you decrease the time from diagnosis or from the symptoms to treatment?
It depends a lot on the hospital. So some of them don't even have contrast imaging. And we are seeing that in some cases, the contrast imaging plus the radiologist looking at the images can be more than an hour. But mostly it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes time. Depends on the stroke coordination network.
Hi, Ritesh here. Are you leveraging the Microsoft distribution system as part of this?
Yeah, we have a strong partnership with Microsoft, both for product development, but also with commercial incentives. So they are creating new leads for us, going to the hospitals and selling the product, basically.
Thank you very much. Alba. Next up, we have Oliver Piepenstock, CEO of Noah Labs.
Thank you very much. All right. diseases and how we can harness voice as a biomarker. Within 5 years, half of heart failure patients die. And in that, heart failure is still the #1 hospital admission reason among the elderly, the #1 cost driver of health systems all over the world, and most of that is attributable to hospitalizations. So that's what we need to crack. Now, you might have seen this one before, swollen lower legs, a typical sign of a weakened heart. The same kind of fluid assembly also happens in the lungs and in the vocal tract, and that's what changes the sound of voice. Now, from a textbook perspective, as a cardiologist, the standard of care is still step-in on a scale. A sudden gain in weight might indicate worsening heart failure. The gold standard on the other side is invasive measurements. With voice, we gain something that is somewhere in between, about 2-3 weeks out before patients are being hospitalized. So we developed Noalab's Vox, which is really a tool to collect voice samples and to analyze them. That way, we gain enough time to change medication in heart failure patients and get them back into the stable state. This is optically roughly what it looks like, and you can already see with your eyes there is a clear difference. The cardiologist knows what it sounds like in the bad state. It gets really bubbly. So we really built an optical AI approach, a deep learning model that analyzes it and that generates an alert in a primary system. We do have one of our own, but could also be a third-party system, so the physician can intervene. Clinical trials, we started training on data sets in Berlin at Charité, then ran our own trials at Mayo Clinic, but also again at Charité. A number of other trials coming up, including here at Clinic Barcelona and in Maastricht, to generate the evidence we need. I'll skip that one. You got to know me today. I got two fantastic co-founders. Leo is a medical doctor trained in cardiovascular. Marcus is a machine learning genius, signal processing, spent some time at Harvard Med, and we're really supported by the leading clinicians in the world of heart failure, but also the people that are really specialized in vocal biomarkers. We closed a round earlier this year with Nina Capital, but in order to fund our FDA clearance trial, we'll need quite some more cash, and that's what we will be kicking off very soon, the fundraise. We're running commercial pilots already with Bayer and with Samsung that are really interested in the kind of technology. So that's really it. We want to make a difference in people's lives, so please come join us, come join me on that journey.
Thank you, very interesting. What is the correlation with lung congestion?
So it's really structural changes when there's fluid built up, pulmonary edema in the lungs, but also in the vocal tract. It physically changes the production of sound.
So the correlation is good. And did you have a chance to monitor how it's changing during the treatment when you intensify the diuretics?
Yeah, so up-titrating the diuretics, the medication that makes you go pee, the loose fluid, edema goes away step by step, and the voice reverts to its earlier state.
So this is more sensitive marker?
It is, very much so.
Is this done at home, like a self-test?
Yes.
I know,
any mobile phone, 5-second voice snippet. We like vowels going like, ah.
I know, what is the business model then?
Well, if we specifically look at the US market and we want to change hard outcomes like hospitalizations, bring down costs, so we prefer a value-based approach, capturing some of the saving that we generate for health systems.
You said you're going after the US market. What's the difference between this and the handheld EKGs? They've been trying to do the same thing for 5 years.
So with the EKG, it's difficult to detect worsening heart failure. It's something that is not really in there, at least not to the extent that we know it today. Might be possible with a 12-lead ECG, but the gold standard is still invasive measurements, pressure censoring, a catheter.
Time for one more question. Less than 20 seconds now.
All right. you can collect a lot of, you're collecting all the data and you can identify many more conditions than just heart failures from this data set. So why do you focus on only that?
It's the biggest problem, and it's some problem that's really well explainable. There's a lot of patients out there, so it makes sense to get started with heart failure.
Okay, thank you very much, Oliver. Round of applause, please. And finally, we have Vitaly Karpachik, founder and CEO at PigPug Health.
Hola to Tom. I'm Vitaly, CEO and founder of PigPug Health. We work on AI-powered neurofeedback solution for kids with attention deficit and autism. Problem, more than 10% of US kids are neurodivergent. It's a huge problem. And it's my personal, I've been struggling with autistic symptoms since I remember myself. And right now my mission is to provide the opportunity for these kids for the brighter future. It's a current treatment strategies, it's a medication, behavioral and psychological interventions, and solutions based on neurofeedback. And in my head, you see clinic smell neurofeedback solution. It's expensive, it's uncomfortable and boring experience. So no more this clinic smell. And we have developed the device and a software for the kids with attention deficit and autism. Our solution consists of 3 parts. It's a telemedicine and online platform, our neurofeedback from home, from comfortable atmosphere. It's a patented device, and what's most important is AI personalized content. According to the EEG, we provide the content for the kids to help them to become more socialized, productive, more attentive. It's one of the paid pilot study we have tested before and after, only 10 sessions, and have some great results. It's our competitive advantage, not only personalized content, but some protocols for non-verbal autistic kids. Our market entry strategy, we are based in the US. It's through neurofeedback therapists. It's a B2B2C, and we go to the market through neurofeedback therapists. And we need this because kids need it with human interaction. And we are still humans, and kids with autism, they very, very need human kindness and passion. It's a 2 plans, basic and custom, and affordable device. We are raising right now $2.2 million to have a product launch in Q1 2025. We have a team, we have a revenue, we have a pre-orders for the device, we have a proven technology. We just need some fuel to make it happen. It's our fantastic 4 founders. I'm a technical co-founder with successful exit in 2016. Anna is a neurosurgeon and neuroscientist, and 2 neurofeedback therapists. It's a team of developers, designers, medical doctors, and world-class advisors. In case of you guess about the name, it's the 2 superheroes. It's Mrs. Pig and Mr. Pug, who will help kids with autism to be more socialized, productive, to live a better life. Thank you.
Okay, for the final track, for the first track, the final 2 minutes for questions.
Yes.
Where's the manufacturing facility?
Yeah, we have some bad experience in some Asia region. We will manufacture in US and in Mexico.
Can you talk more about the payer landscape? Who exactly is going to be paying and reimbursing? Is there a clear pathway?
Yeah, there are 2 CPT codes for reimbursement. We were working to get our solution to be reimbursed, but at the beginning it's going to be parents will pay $199 with practitioner and $49 without the practitioner.
If you would like to ask a question, make sure you raise your hand high so they can see you.
You said you had pre-orders. What kind of volume are you talking about?
Yeah, we talk about around 40 pre-orders. 40 pre-orders. We want to manufacture 100 We have a 40 pre-ordered. So thank you, Barcelona.